Yo. Hello, folks. Juicy day of work yesterday and just woke up. Ready for a day of this. See if we can finish it. I'd like to try to clean up the rest of the areas here. I have been. Let's see how successful I am. Clearly a few items I don't have. There has to be. I don't know what. We're actually able to clean up most of these. I think some kind of like super air dash here. Likely something I can climb up high with. Unless this spawns. Lighted one. Oh, I got level 50. What the fuck? Oh, that's all I needed. Never mind. I really like this fucking slash thing, man. Really good. Is there something down here? Yeah, the warping axe thing just seems fucking sick, dude. It's really useful for just running around, and even during boss. I mean, anytime the boss isn't like there to hit you, or they're right next to you in a damageable state, I mean, it attacks pretty quick, so I mean, it should be able to do something. Alright, let's go ahead and get to a new save point, and then we'll go back and clean up again. Oh, that was quick. The amulet. Oh. Some kind of amulet. I think I remember picking something up. This is just kind of a lock and key item, huh? Holy. Here he comes, man. Is everybody ready? He's gonna say it. Anime blasphemous. It's similar. Yeah. I mean, from the pace of the combat to generally not having too crazy movement tech. The Fallen Empire art style focus kind of thing. I mean, I think Blasphemous, at least the first one, has a much more striking focus on visuals, but I feel like this is trying to do stuff like that. I do think this is trying to be more emotional. Blasphemous is trying to be more like just hard, more edgy, but yeah. I mean, I'd say it's pretty close. I definitely get a similar feel. I mean, I've enjoyed the gameplay. So far, I think the bosses have at least tried to be pretty distinct, too. I don't remember much about the Blasphemous bosses. That could be the case. I mean, I'll forget about these bosses eventually, but... You know, the thief that has, like, dudes tanking for him, or... The witch with, like, full fucking, keep away projectiles and stuff. So that's been... They've been trying to do stuff with gameplay there, and I've enjoyed that. I mean, the sub-weapons is kind of just like a classic Metroidvania thing. Some of them are fun, some of them are whatever. The different weapons and them getting more skills and stuff I think is nice. That's a nice part of this gameplay. Right, yeah, I'm not like, whoa, I'm just popping off when I'm playing it, right? Like, it just feels really great, and every interaction I have with the enemies just feels just sweet, right? Even the parries lack a little bit of oomph, right? The levels tend to be very long, like, not labyrinthian, but like, maybe some of them lack a few, like, distinct bits of level design going on. It's not the worst one. I've seen much worse Metroidvanias. There's one, I can't remember the name, that came out 4 or so months ago. That was kind of like an edgy Souls thing, and it's just zigzagging through fucking hallways full of dudes, and... But this isn't, like, too far. If it's in the same vein, right? It's, like, combat focused, so it just has, like, gauntlets of enemies, and that's generally the focus. Like, they'll throw a little bit of, like, movement tech in there, but it's very light, just enough to... I feel like at a good pace, just enough to keep it feeling spicy, but it doesn't feel like great, right? Like, the hook doesn't feel great. It just stops your momentum and all that, right? It's not like a hook where you actually have some skill involved in it. None of the movement's skill-based, really. I mean, the skill ceiling is very low, right? And I would say Blasphemous was pretty similar. I know. It's Blasphemous 2 is so much worse than the first one. It's hard to remember how the first one was, but I feel like even if we don't make hard comparisons, I feel like I at least feel, in terms of how much I like it, the same as Blasphemous 1, yeah. Like, oh yeah, this is nice. It's fun. It's a clean Metroidvania with, like, somewhat more methodically-ish combat, slower combat. It's got a few cool vibes, and that's it. Right? No, I'm having fun with it, I like it, but that's because I like Metroidvanias. I don't think there's been anything in particular about this that I'm just like, wow, you know. This is next level. And I mean, it doesn't have to be. It can just be executed well, but the execution isn't like that awesome, right? I mean, like, the map sucks. Some of these levels are like way too long. Like I said, I have a problem with some of the visuals in combat, especially for enemies who are as tall as you, being kind of obscured. Some of the enemy variety's been kind of shit. It just depends. I don't know, we'll see by the end. I mean, I'm having fun with it. I like it, but yeah, I'm not like... I think Anime Blasphemous is pretty... While it's not a one-to-one comparison, it's pretty accurate still. And how I feel about the quality, no doubt. Wonder what other people would think of that comparison. Just go to Mandia or Mootown or someone who's played this game. You'd have to play Blasphemous 2. Not Blasphemous 2. Why was Blasphemous 2 so much worse than the first one? It's so bizarre. I think it's because it really didn't do anything. I'm trying to remember because it's such a forgettable Metroidvania, but it was like visually worse. Like clearly the art designer was gone. The level design was super boring looking. And then you're just stuck with like kind of a typical Metroidvania, and even that I don't think was, if I remember right, anything special. Kind of was like the weapons were boring too. I mean, that was one of its biggest problems, is it just was kind of forgettable. And then it didn't even have the art style to fall back on. Look, I'm just saying that Blasphemous 2 was worse. Say what you want about Blasphemous 1. I don't consider it like a god tier Metroidvania or anything. But if you want, like, if you like Souls, you like somewhat more slow kind of combat and all that kind of shit. You know, it was fine. And the art style is worth the entry alone, I'd say. But the second game doesn't even have that. There's no good pixel art or anything in the second game, hardly. There's a couple of characters here and there that look decent. Did you use this shit, Shasta? This axe? Teleport? Yeah, I don't think the gameplay is drastically worse than 2. But I do think the poor level design, how it doesn't really upgrade the formula much, and if anything just makes like side grades, makes it for a worse game as a sequel, which I find, you know, I'm going to be harder on a sequel than I am on the original probably. Because at least the original also had, like I said, something to fall back on. Not to say the level design in this also it's just like bad or anything. I think it's like, you know, sometimes a few areas are too long or use too many of the same enemies and stuff. And honestly, your level design can only really, unless you just like go really hard on set pieces and stuff, only be as good as your base kit, right? Like this game's clearly focused on the combat, so most areas are gauntlets. Depending on how many, then you need like more, you know, level design, enemy design. I mean, and variety and stuff to keep that spicy, or like new tools and all that kind of shit. And I think it does solid enough job, but there's definitely like, you know, some reuse where you're like, hey, you know, how many of these archers am I gonna fight? But like what I'm trying to say is like, you know, a game where I could warp around and fly or something, right? Like take even an Aquaria, even though I don't like that game much. You know, you can swim, and essentially which is just flying freely, right? Full 360 moving around. Level design is made for that, right? It can be made for that. It's like you can't do that in this. It's like this has double jump, it has like a dash in the air and stuff, and now we've got the hook thing, but like, you know, you've got to make interesting level design with like a pretty basic kit, and I don't think they're really pushing that super hard. I think it's good enough. Like there's a nice little mix of platforming, there's a mix of fighting, you know, you get your little bosses here and there. I think the things you find are pretty nice. They're all useful or significant. I would say the sub-weapons have honestly been kind of just whelming. Most of the spirits I haven't found to be super interesting. Like this has probably been one of the more fun ones, just the warp axe. But it's nice being able to swap between two different sets of things, and you get your throwing weapons and all that, and ranged weapons you can use, which helps with like planning around difficult like encounters in the world and shit. And they try to force like level design into like weapon choice by having like aquatic only stuff, but I think that sucks. I don't like that at all. I'd rather it just be purely utility focused, like, you know. That's what I've been using. More or less. I'm trying to do the parry thing. It's useful, and I think it gives some much needed moments where you change your defensive style as needed for, well, like, not just use a dodge. Like sometimes I don't want to dodge because it puts me in a bad position, or the boss is jumping around so much, like with the thief guy, where I just don't get a chance to hit him very often. But with the parry, it's like I can combine a moment where I'm evading and attacking in one motion, and I think there's ample enough times for that. It's not the most fun parry, but it at least has a utility in this. I'm kind of just forcing myself to use it just because it's like, I want to try it, you know, see if it's fun or fooling around a bit, right? But yeah, on the other side, it's just like some kind of range thing. The summon. I'm gonna switch the axe off to something else. Do you think the limited number of uses really has a point? I honestly feel like these could just be infinite with cooldowns and that would be enough. Maybe there's some way later that are just too strong, so they have to have limited uses. I've run out a few times during bosses, but like just because the fights are so long, not because I feel like there's some intricate balance there. Yeah, see, the eagle could be too good. I mean, I'm fine with it. If you don't notice it, it doesn't even matter that it was that way, right? I just wonder, like, which ones were the ones that were too strong, where having just a cooldown system was too much, and it's like, maybe the eagle, maybe there's some kind of like nuke, where like you can only, you know, realistically, you don't want to be able to use it too many times. But if you want to limit it per encounter, you just make it so that you can only use it like once a minute. You'd still have to dodge the boss, right? I don't know. Yeah, maybe the eagle, because it's like you want that to constantly be used, but you don't want it to be used the entire fight. So you either lower its damage, which lowers its usage in the overworld. Well, not overworld, the combat areas, or yeah. I mean, I can see where the justification is. I just wonder which one it is, right? It's definitely been pretty inconsequential. I have no idea where this like item is here. Yeah, I think it's been a solid Metroidvania for sure. But yeah, it's got its little problems. Like I said, it's too early for you to explain your big problems with the game. Other than the map, I'd assume. Not much for the map in this game. I have no idea where the secret is, but... Maybe there's like a pot that I didn't break. Possible that's it. A pot somewhere. There's some vertical rise. There's some hidden shit. Yeah, I feel like having like the eagle would be better for fighting bosses and shit. I mean, really, I could have the parry on RB and then just swap it real quick. Swap it back to the eagle. Just have it be a 2-button thing. I almost wish that the different set was just like you could hold the button or something and let go. Like a modifier button as an option. Yeah. These are the spirit. Oh, by name? Do you want me to like go through them all? Or do you mean like at the rest area? Oh, okay. Oh, we're going. There we go. You used the hammer one a lot? I didn't take you as a chargeman. Oh, does it? Can you keep spamming it? Or is it like a one-time thing? I'm not. It seemed fun, but it was like quicker, like a quick charge thing. So I've got the Throwsman because it's useful. I just kept this one because I don't have enough upgrade materials to swap to something else. Yeah, I never tried the jump thing. I just used it for a little bit. Okay, I was wondering, like, this game didn't feel like it had any tech for sequence breaks. It's very, like, limited on that front. But that's cute that there's, like, I guess, like an unintended, oh, here it is. Alright, this looks like something. How do we get in here? You just fell down a bit, you can see it. Fellas, is this something I should come back for, or can I get in here? gonna switch around. Oh, the ground pound. Oh, from really high up, maybe? Yeah, you might. I think there's a little bit of red there. Yeah, Jesus, dude. That's like the most hidden thing in the game. It's just like barely noticeable foreground coloration, and that you can drop like a little foot. Bizarre. I've spent more time on that than any other secret so far. You can get up to like 6 hits, huh? How did they not notice that? I guess they just left it in the game after that. I'm like, that's the only bit of like sequence breaking tech I can even imagine. It's quite intentional. Cause yeah, I was like, this is a pretty sequence breakless game, all things considered, but yeah, I guess that's the one thing that probably lets you bust it open, unless there's some other shit. That's pretty cool. I could use it, but I have so many areas to go to. That's neat though. Well, if you got some spots that you broke, feel free to show me when we run into them, but... Are you cheating, son? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to notice. Yeah. It's just more built into, like, nuanced spirit bullshit. A lot of sequence breaks don't. It might be one of those just, you know. Like, you're obviously not supposed to use it for anything. It's supposed to be kind of like hidden away almost. I feel like the unintuitiveness of it maybe lends into that. Oi, oi. Yeah, if you're big gaming, you just swap to something real quick and press it. I need to practice though. Like, there's no reason to have the parry on my main one when I have something that has to be constantly channeled. What's up, bless you? What the? Finally, man. Is that a relic? Gotta use that one. Yeah, why wouldn't you, right? Actually, I'm an aquatic. Some fucking damage, Chad. The 5 enemies I can use it on. If I had like 3 kits, maybe I'd be willing to use an aquatic setup. Jokes aside, there is a decent amount of like water. Case in point right here. Looks like we have to... I don't know if there's a switch or if I get to this from underneath. There's not really a lot of space underneath me. There must be a hidden switch. Lots and lots of knockback. Well, that's a way to give yourself some more more distance. Dash off and then do a jump. Oh no. Might be better just to do a flat jump. It can be faster, I guess. So you could dash instead of doing a jump. Well, I'm not seeing any switches anywhere. But I really don't see an entrance to this place from anywhere. Unless you like came in from there and then somehow snuck through the bottom here. Which I doubt. Also, we were missing loot. But the loot could be down here. So. Unless there's a way to pass through gates later. I don't know why they would do that. Is this another hidden thing? Jesus, dude. You really gotta look for all sorts of weird coloration and shit, man. Well, there's loot to find. I guess we could come back. What's down here first? Two. That he has like very specific ones you have to find everywhere. It makes me think his final deal might actually be pretty slick. Or it's to ensure, in case you're a fucking psycho who just randomly upgrades everything, that you have at least one that's maxed by the end. But who knows, maybe it's bull. Woke up over 2 hours early and can't fall back asleep, so I was watching since you're out. Yeah, that was me yesterday. I've been pushing my sleep schedule forward, whether I plan on it or not. So I ended up getting very little sleep some of these days. I got good sleep-ish today, but I've been sweating a lot from sleeping on. What it is. I guess the heat outside, but fucks with my sleep a little bit. It's one of those where it's like I got solid sleep, but because my sleep schedule keeps changing, it's like even with solid sleep, it's like it only does so much. As we've been able to clear out so many of these areas. 4. I don't know how much this actually does anything. Damage dealt at max. I'm only at max. I can only put myself to max 3 times. And then whenever I'm just not hit in the first place, but so I'll probably get rid of that. Slight reduction of damage. I don't know how much it actually is. I'd rather not get rid of experience. I mean, movement and dashing speed. Is this really like even noticeable? Right, let's test it. That took 5 seconds to get across the room, almost exactly. Let me test it again. It was quicker, but we're talking like probably like 10% or something, and that wasn't even like this. I didn't even count it perfect like with milliseconds. Yeah, man, I'll get the stopwatch out, bro. We're going full science on this one. Where's the stopwatch? 4 seconds and 4.41 seconds. Let's take it off here. I mean, unless the dash is like way better in this form. Okay, here we go again. We're gonna restart. .65 seconds. I mean, it's almost nothing, right? .81. Thing is, I like having extra speed. .6. Yeah, it's almost imperceptible. I mean, it's not worth 2 points. That's for fucking sure, man. If anything, it should just be a flat fucking upgrade. This would just be purely just have a nice little bonus for yourself, not 2 slots worth. Thank Christ, man. It's like this one, it's like 5 HP. Hey, come on. At least that's like cost 1, right? I think this room right next to me requires a key of some sort. Actually, I have 3 areas I can go to right now. One down here, one up here, then one on the far right. I'm gonna keep cleaning up. Goda, we were talking about it earlier. I don't know if you're here. Anime blasphemous, man. That's what Fasto said. Do you agree? This game. I said I could see it. I think less on some of the specifics, except maybe combat pacing, and more just generally how I feel about it. I think the art I liked a bit more in Blasphemous, and that was a bigger draw, but I feel about the same about the level design, the combat, to a certain extent, and like the pace and all that of combat. Oh yeah, I mean, no, I don't think it's a, and this is what I said, I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison, for sure. But I do think they focus on similar-ish things, and I feel like the execution's about on the same level. Yeah, there's a lot more environmental hazard deaths and shit. That's a big change in level design. I feel like this does lean into more of like a Egomania than Blasphemous did, but because of the sub-weapons and the swapping system. But Blasphemous have a swapping thing too. The point is, I could see where somebody would say it. I think there's definitely points of contention there that, you know, it's 100% not like a one-to-one thing. I think it's a little more than that. They're going for a similar pace and shit. The speed of combat. But, I don't know. At this point, you could just say, yeah, it's because it's a sub, like the Souls Metroidvania subgenre. At best. What is the anime Salt and Sanctuary, bros? Where does this rate on the Salt and Sanctuary scale? Salt and Sanctuary is a Flash game version of Blasphemous. Salt and Sanctuary is the anime Salt and Sanctuary. Did you play that one, Fast Down? The second one of those came out, right? Did anybody end up liking that? I feel like Salt and Sanctuary is one of like the first like 2D Souls, which is just a fucking Egomania game with that's a little slower. Which, at the end of the day, the game even just ends up being just a typical Egomania, anyways. Because once you start adding the move tech around and the pace disappears, it's just Castlevania again. I don't think it sucks ass. If you want some fucking like tweening like flash tier animations, gives you some of that, man. I don't think it's good, but I mean, it doesn't suck ass. Oh, you can set it to hold. Awesome. I need to swap my kits around then. Yeah, it definitely feels like a game that benefited greatly from time of release. It was a very early adopter of like a more of a Souls like aesthetic than I would even say like. One sec. Like really like anything else. I mean, the death, dropping shit, many items, but I mean, that's, you could just say, like, once again, that's just like an Egomania thing, but I would say it's like visual style probably was. More similar to Souls than anything. But at some point you just end up dashing around like a Metroidvania, so It also has one of the shittiest difficulty curves in a fucking game, I feel like. The game, like, has a decent level of challenge, and then it becomes an absolute fucking yoke. Man. Which feels good to just crank stuff, but none of the fights I feel like feel any kind of spicy after a certain point. I think this is another key requirement or some kind of like horizontal dash. I think this area has a lot of key horizontal dash requirements, so maybe there's something else to find here, but I'm gonna go ahead and move to a new area. Seems like maybe these areas kind of like, they plan them so like, the farthest back area requires these two, and then it's the one of those, and then a new one, and then, you know, it like kind of recycles. I was able to almost full clear the back ones outside of a few secrets. But then the ones as you get closer require seemingly like new shit. Oh, there's an ending. Okay. That just kind of happened out of nowhere. Game over. sorry I stopped using you, bro. Oh, damn. Okay. Well, that just happened. Trivial. You just walk back there after you do like certain things. Oh man, I don't want to redo a final boss, man. For fun. 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 Oink. I hate fun though. Some shit higher up, but I don't know if there's a way to get up there. All the way up there. Doesn't show there's a path up from here. Maybe you have to discover it as like a secret. Or maybe you get some tack later on. Purify him. Seems like it could be fun. The castle. Music? Is this gonna be the best song? I can almost upgrade him again. I wouldn't mind upgrading this, but I'm gonna wait. Yep, he gets 2 upgrades off of 1 place, you're fine. Only need 1 each time. My brother. He's probably pretty good, man. Oh shit, the music changed when you walked in the room, dude. Kenography. I wish I kept the bird out instead of like wiping it every time. This guy never lets up. He doesn't even really get staggered, he just goes down for like a millisecond. Which kinda sucks. Another problem with the hammer guy. As if some dude has like 2 seconds of like downtime, you can't really capitalize on it at all. God, you really gotta redo this shit every time, brother. God, this really moves forward every time something happens. Almost want to ditch the bird just because I'm gonna swap a lot. I like reactivate the bird every time. You just get good at spamming everything. Okay. Too many bugs. Once I get better at it, it'll be fine. Increases max is by 10 this time instead of 5. Maybe you can't get to that room from this place, so you have to come around or some shit. A big clunky hammer. Look, man. It's fun, it's different. But also, can't really upgrade many weapons. Problem with having choices but limited upgrade modes, but then having the game have enough difficulty where you kind of need shit. I might actually swap that to the guy that like comes from up top. I mean, if you really wanted to, I mean, like you could use the staff and just play keep away, but like even then, I mean, And just like try to max range shit. But I mean, those have limited charges, so you have to have something in the back. I mean, I guess you could just use 2 ranged things. But I kind of like having melee, but with a ranged option as backup. I mean, you'd have to use the hammer, I guess, right? I don't know how good the hammer is, though. Just do quick charge ups. Yeah, hammer's an infinite. Oh, I gotcha. I like viability. Yeah, I mean, it's probably possible to do 2 ranged ones with like the amount of uses upgrade. But you have to really build towards it. I don't know how good the hammer is. It's like a fast charge weapon, which is interesting. Just at this point, you've already upgraded so much shit. I'm just fine with what I got for now. I hate these fucking quick turnaround motherfuckers, man. I parry every time. Trying out all these new like spammables, man. The parry just cleans them out. That's blockable. And it does pretty solid damage, but like, might as well have the one that you can throw in an arc just for more fun in the normal areas. What the fuck? Did I just fall? And then I end up doing a double jump instead of a main jump? What the fuck was that? Experience. It's hard to say no to like XP stacking, man. I wonder how much XP you even get from them. If it's one of those games where you get like 1 level over the entirety of the playthrough kind of like improvement, or if it's actually significant. Or if you just end at 100 anyways in this game, so it's pointless. What is the point of this? Is it just like one of the few like stage interactables? I mean, it's pretty significant. I went back to fight like normal enemies in the first zone and I just one-shot everyone. It's definitely not like a small, completely inconsequential thing. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's some East 1 shit where it's like huge, but... Is it better than, you know, 0.05% movement speed or something? It's like, yeah, probably. Well, I can't get to this yet. Ground-based stuff. I know this says piercing, but it gets blocked. I don't think they mean piercing in a very different light than I do. I know I'm gonna keep the axe one forever. 800 to max this thing? Holy crap. Jesus. We're not playing around, man. What the fuck? We don't want you to max all the options because we want the last level to take an obscene amount of blight. Just cause maybe they start dropping an insane amount later. I mean, I guess that's probably it, but still, that's crazy, man. It's nice they start some of these at higher levels, though, when they drop. So I haven't upgraded most of these. They just come at level 3 or 4. Like Silva comes at 3. So they created the blight and used it to defend the twin spires from who again? I think they mentioned it before, so I don't remember. Some randos, I'm sure. Enemies will be more easily stunned, so it just does more damage to their... defense gauge. probably pretty good. It would have to be pretty significant, actually. It's good against normal enemies, but they end up dying as soon as it breaks anyways. Just from the normal amount of damage after that. If you broke them early, it might be nice, but on bosses, breaking their stuns really not that wild. Like, it's nice, but they recover in like a half a second. Anyways, so it's kind of just like, if they're gonna recover in half a second, what's even the point? Like, you just get a little bit of free damage, but then like they'll shift fucking phases and just be immune anyways. Yeah, I could see that being good on something that has more like constant like stuff, but like on these guys, yeah, it's like, what's the point? It might be good on range, so then you could pepper guys and get more like free damage or something. Because I bet those don't have much stagger. Damn mages. Maybe we confuse their souls. Yeah, costs a lot too. Just hanging. Huh? It's supposed to be some scripted, dude. Can you get over here earlier? I thought I couldn't. I thought I needed a jump. Maybe there was some jump. Okay. Yeah, there's your level difference, I guess. Dude, the guy just got turned into a fucking paste for pizza, man. Maiden. dog. Sweepy down. Oh yeah. Well, how do you get over this? To get over here? Or is there like some under area? Oh yeah. I already forgot about it till you said the name again. Oh well. Oh. Maybe that boss was just that easy then. And they just put low level guys here because it's technically the town even though you couldn't get here till later. I mean, you'd assume you can because those dudes were that easy. But... He's gigantifying. No, somebody stop him. Oh. Maybe. Possibly. Another 3 cost. Wonder how much damage you get from Giant's Ring. How much was that? He flew away. 439. Just give me the numbers, fuck. I know the Japanese game, man. No numbers. It's pretty sizable. What is that almost? It's about 10%. Yeah, it was just this castle town area out here is all I meant. 10% damage on the ground. I mean, one more heal's better than that. We'll wait till we get slots, I guess. The damage back. I guess it depends on the XP too. Do you get like a pretty consistent XP across like every enemy? Or is it like you pretty much get locked to each area in XP? Percentage modifiers are useless when they have like, you know, this area gives 1,000, this area gives 10,000, this area gives 100,000. You'll never catch up no matter how much bonus you get if you're like going from a 10,000 to 100,000 area. But if it's like more marginal, you could actually get ahead. Put it on as a bonus. Because I'm not actually sure. This feels like it's marginal, but like I haven't noticed just when I get into an area all of a sudden I'm like cranking dudes, but the kill them from behind setup here. The sewer area harder than this? I didn't find the sewer area too spicy. It was alright. I mean, harder than this? I don't know. Pretty similar. Hard to say if, yeah, one of them was supposed to be done beforehand. I mean, we'll find out on the boss, huh? That'd probably be the ultimate test. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, this area doesn't feel like ultra easy. I'm literally just talking about the area with the castle town right next to it. The enemies clearly were dying quicker, like the dog. In here, they're dying about the same speed as anywhere else. I don't know why the castle town area was like, they just got fucking blown up. Oh, I see what you're saying. Maybe they're scaling. That kind of shit. The axe ability is just OP, man. What the fuck are they thinking? I mean, that guy that gets thrown up into the air has like 12 charges. He's like 40. I don't think she can AoE at all, but I mean, fuck. He's gone. He's gone. funny, even when you break their guard, they still block you. What's with that shit? What's even the point of breaking those guys, man? Power of a tower shield, yeah, they're just that good, man. I mean, I guess when your shield's that big, you could just fucking AFK and just say fuck it, dude. I don't want those enemies to respawn, but I also don't want to sit here and have to rerun through these. I hate one-way drops. Can't get back up this way. And if I go the other way, I have to do the whole gauntlet again because they lock the doors. We'll just run through the fucking place. Thanks, go. What the? How did it ban them and then still pop up? Maybe they test to see if you've banned the link. Let me throw it in there. On my screen, you banned someone and then their message popped up. It's probably just Twitch glitching out. And it didn't disappear. Worked on my computer. Yeah, fuck you. Hey buddy, fuck you. Can you get that? Can you make that? It's like close, but I don't know if you can. I guess with the hammer you could. I don't have it right now. Get good. What the related? Well, I mean, well, I'm sure we'll get something to be able to do it. Eventually. I don't even get over there. It must actually be from that chunk. Now I think about it, you can't do anything here. I don't know why I came back up. Hey motherfucker, get good, mate. Skill issue, mate. My brother should be home soon. He might want to grab a drink, he might not. We'll see. I'll probably take a small break if he does. Tell you what though, man, this Pixel 8, Google wants a lot of they remind you and ask you all the time for thousands of different kinds of access, thousands of different kinds of like ad tailoring, locations, AI reading your messages to fucking like set up better response. Bullshit, I have to turn off so much stuff. And they're always asking, you want notifications? You want this and that? I get the notifications thing, because people generally don't go into settings and do things because their brain's rotten, but like, there's a lot of like hidden away. We're gonna send like every piece of information we possibly can back to the HQ. You can turn it all off. I mean, they probably turned it back on. They just had a new update today and it turned on the new stuff. Yeah. That's part of it. Is like, it's like with cookies online, is like, you know, laws made it so you have to tell people what cookies you're putting on. You can reject them all and all that. So. Stuff like that. Phones, it's like, you know, they gotta tell you about all the ads and stuff like that. There is still stuff hidden away to mess with. There's just so many options and most people are just gonna click out of shit. But I mean, some of this is just tutorializing. It's like, your average Joe's like, ooh, do I want notifications from this app? They're not going to go into the settings, find it, turn on notifications, and tailor it. They just want to hit yes when it pops up, and that's the end of it. So. For me, it's like I like everything off, and then I manually turn shit on. I want to know what's all getting added. So. But it is what it is. You know, I'm not one-shotting these guys with that. This area's definitely got a higher level of dudes. Feels good when flying enemies can die from falls. They lose control of the wangs. Some games just have them incapable of dying from falls. Most games don't have fall damage for enemies. The mix-up. Full coverage. Guess we got a new kind of projectile enemy. It's right next to the boat, guys, but... Need more of these. Oh. The area of air hovers. Yeah, I bet you could just keep going. He skips. He cheats. He wins. Yeah, flying dudes get toasted. Gain popularity and live stream earnings easily. Yeah, I'm sure all those bots are gonna help out as someone. Sub. No, man, it's gonna get you sponsorships, bro, because you're gonna get noticed. The guys that are gonna give you $10,000 to play their game will be like, yeah, man, those 5,000 views are real. I guess they could watch ads for you. Do they, though? I mean, honestly, it'd be funny to see, like, ad people get destroyed by bots like that. Just paying Twitch or something for, like, absolutely zero gain. But either way, that'd be two evils duking it. No. I was feeling stuck on Twitch until I tried Stream Boo's follower services. Maybe the bots don't follow, man. Those are real people because they got noticed in the view count. I mean, sadly, it probably works a little bit, but you're not gonna get quality people, and you're not going to get like, do you really want to, like, if you're willing to do that, your mentality's already, I feel like, in my opinion, if you're looking to enjoy streaming, wrong about streaming in the first place, so it's already too far gone for you. But like, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna only play Fortnite, even though I hate Fortnite or something, to get views. It's like, what, like, are you just fucking streaming just to get views, or like, what? Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I get it, right? Like, as someone who's had, you know, enjoys streaming a lot and has met a lot of great people here, would not say I have a successful channel in terms of like views and being able to live off it. It's been doing it for 10 years, but it's like, for me, the integrity of the stream and making sure I still enjoy it every day is like way more important. And I feel like once you start doing that, it's just gone, man. You clearly have a underpinning like desire that eclipses like the other stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, one, Twitch would destroy you. But like, two, like, yeah, having more views lets you get ahead of other people, but like, if you, I don't know, man. I mean, the popular get more popular, sure, but like, there has to be some underlying, like, you can't just sit there and stare at a wall and then the numbers are just gonna keep getting higher, right? Because you have views. Like if you think that's just gonna magically make your day, then it's not, right? Like it's gonna like make your stream awesome. Extremely high quality chatter rushing in to watch the person with the most viewers and make their chat experience superior to the competition. Wow, I really, as someone who loves to engage with the streamer and, you know, blah blah blah, donate or something, I sure love only doing it in large channels. Like I get on Twitch that discoverability tends to be linked to numbers. And I mean, in general, the more known you are, the more people are going to know about you and find you, right? Because friends talk about, you know, people talk about stuff, right? Or it gets linked or it hits algorithms or something. But like, it's such just a piece of the pie. It's so like hollow. And to me, it just feels like bullshit too, right? I mean, come on, you go into one of these chats and they're like, nobody's talking. It's like, is that really what streaming's about? I get that people are trying to game the system, get an advantage, but it feels like somebody's like cheating, but like it's not even a cheat that's gonna like get you anything. And it says something about the underpinning like personality and quality of the streamer. And I care a lot more about that than I do how many people theoretically are in there. Yeah, that's a funny emote. Yeah, that's the thing. If you ever did get popular enough, like, off of that, like, Twitch would probably, I'd assume, do something to it. And you're definitely not gonna, yeah, make, like, ad money. Roof. I don't know. I don't know the stats of like the success of these view bots, but I have to imagine does not. I've never known a big streamer who like clearly got where they were using view bots. Now, thing is, I do know streamers who got, you know, once they got big enough, they keep snowballing, but part of that's also they snowball not just because they're at the top of a numbers list, but because people are going to go out and talk about them and stick with them and be in communities and watch videos about them and stuff. A bot will not do any of that. It's purely just to get to the top of like a numbers thing on the Twitch views page, but like, I mean, maybe, like, I guess it, like, maybe that would help just a little bit. I mean, it definitely wouldn't hurt, but for me, the underlying like loss of like any integrity And the money you'd have to spend, because I bet that's expensive, right? Would completely blow out any value you gain, right? Not to mention it's breaking the rules, so you're gonna risk your channel. I don't know. I've seen people who bought like that. I've been rated by people who bought like that. Come in like, oh yeah, my viewers are a little quiet. Haha. See ya, and then they just like slowly trickle over like this like very arbitrary amount of like time. And you're just like, and then they just quit streaming, right? They just don't keep to it because they're not doing it for fun in the first place. Many of the gigabit streamers are part of the same talent in these bots. YouTube, they probably use bots at some point. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying is like it's possible. Like you use bots to get you to a certain level, and then yeah, on YouTube I feel like it's more valuable, right? Because you can abuse like an algorithm. Twitch has such bad discoverability. There's not even much to abuse other than raw fucking like viewer numbers and just hope somebody's in a category and scrolling few views, right? I feel like unless you're like, for me it's like I follow a lot of people from like a speedrun.com or people just I kind of know, or just like, you know, I learn about somebody from another stream kind of thing, but like very rarely is it from the system itself. With YouTube I could see like fields of bots, right, actually gaming the algorithm and like, you know, making actual people want to watch it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get properly big, somebody has to be engaged. Right? That's what I meant. I mean, you can't just stare at a wall and all of a sudden it worked. But I feel like people know that. It's just that the buying like bots is just supposed to be like an advantage. Which I don't know. Maybe it is just a little bit, but man, I don't know. For me, like what you lose there and how lame it is and shit. Just I don't know. On principle, I wouldn't want to do it. Not to mention the cost. I'm curious how much it costs. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you'd probably get more from fucking trying to show your channel on random Reddits and stuff. I don't even know how you advertise your stream, man. I mean, I feel like if I've ever gotten any influx of viewers from other people rating me, just other communities. And that's also just how I interact. I just talk to people, so that's just kind of how it worked out. Yeah, collab seems to be the thing. Who wants to collab with a guy who just talks about random games and VMs and critiques them? That's, I mean, I like my channel and I love having the conversations I do, but it's not like a TikTok video format. Just become utterly soulless. Yeah, who knows? That's the thing. Is, I mean, I've seen videos for kids that are like clearly like complete, just like bizarro AI generated like slop, but like, you know, some kids are gonna watch it because it's just like bright colors and they don't know any better. It's a spooky prospect. I mean, kids grow up on YouTube now. My buddy was a kid. She's on that phone, man. Pretty interesting. Back in the day, you know, we'd be on the TV or some shit, but granted, she does all sorts of shit. They're good parents, but yeah, they'll stumble upon some of those videos that are just like brain rot. It's like they gotta like curate it a bit. It's sad because there are parents who probably just want to pacify their kid and figure, hey, that's good parenting if the kid isn't annoying or something. But they're getting like complete like soulless dog shit. Like brain rotting. Not that like Barney or something was like high art, but I imagine some actual nonsense AI shit's not really gonna hit it. It's not very clear AI voice speaking. Yeah, I don't know. I imagine in other countries, yeah, being able to just kind of like, you know, if you just have a phone and that's a possible way you can make some quick bucks. I mean, yeah, you're gonna put out the most just bullshit, dog shit, whatever it takes, and I get that. Yeah, you know, you're gonna hustle it, right? Like I'm in a position where it's like I can just do this for fun. You know, I'd love to be able to live off it, and I get some help so that I can, you know, help pay bills from it. But yeah, I do other shit as well. But it's like in a situation where it's like, you know, you don't have many options, and like this is like maybe like an out, like videos or something. I mean, the phone has all these programs where you can make crazy edit, you know, you know, crazy little video editing magic. It's like I get like wanting to abuse the system and make some bullshit, but for a quick buck. But yeah, I don't know. It's it's whatever. I don't know. It just depends. I mean, a lot of it depends. I just feel like, yeah, view editing is scummy, and it's very arguable whether it's even that beneficial. And partially, I would blame Twitch just for bad discoverability. They've tried to upgrade it before, but I mean, it just tends to be cheeks, dude. Not that it's great on YouTube either. I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's just a bazillion million people who make content. And most people don't try to find anything. They just stumble upon stuff. If you happen to be very focused, that's why you might be very focused on a particular game, and you'll follow like a directory or something, but like you're not usually gonna stay around, and most people even don't care about that, right? Like the amount of people who actually like, and it goes for any media, who are willing to like go put in work to find things they might be more interested in, and like optimize their free time to be more, you know, either educational, more entertaining, more valuable in whatever the way they deem like valuable, like is low. The amount of people doing that is low. Like it's just like some people do, but most people are probably just gonna flip on the Netflix. They're just gonna pop up to their usual, you know, Twitch people or like whatever's popular, what they hear from their friends on YouTube. And I can't blame people. I mean, I end up watching a lot of the same streams too, because I just, you know, they're comfy, I'm used to it. You know, I don't look for a lot of new people. I don't spend most of my time watching streams because I stream myself. So, I mean, I probably would care more if I was spending more time doing it. I've found recently a lot more like YouTube channels. Hell, I've even used the fucking algorithm once or twice to find good ones, but I don't know. It just depends. So it's like, the point of that was that even if they make the discoverability way better, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter to a certain extent. I mean, it's not going to matter. Like all of a sudden, everybody's just going to go check out all these like one viewer channels. No, because that's just not how it works. Now, I still think discoverability being better would be nice. It'd be cool if like you did have any care about finding more niche, particular kinds of streamers or content or something. I hate saying content, but like that's the idea. Mixed media, I don't know. If you're like, hey, I do want to go to a discussion thing and it's about variety or something, you know, more laid back, you know, no antics, like, you know, like this stream. If I could somehow tag that out, if somebody wanted to, they could find it very easily. That'd be cool. But so the discoverability sucks on that front. So it'd be cool if that was easier, but I don't know. The thing is, places like YouTube, they're not incentivized to have a wide variety of like decent views, right? It's much better to have less people with more views, because then they can like focus in on probably like, you know, bigger PR events, more focused advertising campaigns and pricing. Didn't they do that with YouTube? What was it? YouTube TV? What was it called? Where they were trying to do that. The algorithm would favor particularly chosen like higher view types and kind of, you know, like for me, I find it's almost like the AAA betting on the safe stuff. I feel like you need that quality, you need that breadth of everything, you need that place for people to come up out of to be like your star entertainment. But like, I guess to a certain extent, once you're that big, like you can just use all those big guys and, you know, not really care about the rest, even if they still pull in some kind of views. I mean, that's how it was on Twitch. I mean, then they made the what is it, associate, what do they call it, what am I not partner, you know, like, oh, we can still make money off of like a wider pool of like follower streams. But I don't know, it's an interesting thing. Point is, discoverability sucks, but it's not everything. But also, I feel like a lot of these companies probably would prefer just to have a more collected, focused pool of talent that they can funnel money into and advertise accordingly. You know the advertisers probably do too, right? You want some guy who's gonna call out like a corporation or something to be possibly in your pool of like 10 million people you're paying, or would you rather just have 50 guys that make the same amount of viewers who you could put your Coke advertisement on? I hate that shit too, where they're like worried about like brand risk shit because their ad pops up on a YouTube video. Like, how stupid are you to like correlate the ads to the content you're watching? They're completely separate, automated thing. But that's the thing, is like your grandma or something has no idea. They're like, oh, Coke must have watched this video about somebody fucking inserting bananas up his ass and then said, man, I want to sponsor that. Like, yeah, that's not how it works, right? Nobody's watching this shit. Sorry. I missed some stuff for that Giga rant. Scary with kids and mobile phones. My friend's family members got seriously traumatized when he was 7 because some older dumbass kid thought when I showed ISIS beheading this. The amount of information and media available to people can be an amazing thing, and I think it's good overall, despite it, you know, the internet creating you know, bad and good things, right? Like socialization's a little weird. You know, how we socialize now is very different. How attention spans and all that kind of stuff, but being able to educate yourself and see all sorts of stuff about the world bridges the gap, I feel like, between places you've never seen before and different cultures and shit. But the problem is, with all of this information, you get situations like that where it's like, you know, there's kinds of information for, you know, certain minds, younger folks, or, you know, maybe people are just, you know, on the edge, man, right? Where it's easy to stumble upon stuff you might not want to see, or yeah, I feel like for more, you know, an adult or some mature person, I mean, it just overexposure to certain kinds of stuff. Like with TV, you know, it's going to focus on the negative, like the news cycles. It's going to overly focus on clicks and negative stuff, and it's like, you know, you spend all your time seeing so many different sources and so many different stories of that kind of tone. You know, that can affect you even as like an adult, let alone just sensational stuff for a kid. So it's, I don't know, there's a lot to think about there. To a certain extent, it's like, I would never want to be ignorant, but it's kind of funny to a certain extent. I mean, back in the day, you know, you had propaganda and like fear-mongering because you just were ignorant of stuff, but at the end of the day, you only knew so much fucking information, right? I mean, your world was, not that you were just like, you know, content or something, but I mean, your world only so large. I feel like with the internet and all that stuff, you get a lot more. So to see a lot more than have so much of it be kind of like either sensational or negative kind of focus. You get a very different dynamic, I guess, with people than just like back in the day when it was whatever was on the paper. The thing is, though, it's like people would still get as outraged about stuff or as wild about that. They would just do it over, you know, something less global, possibly. Or, I mean, sometimes global. I mean, look at stuff like the Cold War. But, you know, it's not like the emotions don't exist all of a sudden back in the day, right? Drama around the fucking, you know, tavern or something would be, you know, the same thing as for us what drama is on some kind of country level, but still. It's not like people have magically changed and, you know, inherently it's just, I guess, how those things kind of are expressed, how those things appear. That makes sense. What I'm saying is, like, I don't think the internet and the amount of information and stuff inherently changes people, but I think it, you know, has a learned effect on people, an environmental effect on people that brings out certain things that are good, certain things that are, you know, much more either extreme or mentally taxing, exhausting, possibly. I shouldn't say more extreme. Different kinds of extreme. I mean, it's not like there was a whole lot of internet browsing back with like the Nazis or something. You know, there's plenty of fucking extremism in regards to the internet. But internet's so new. It'd be interesting to see what we think the effect the internet's had on us 30, 40 years from now. I mean, that's a box you can't close, and I don't think it should be. I think it's super positive. Not super positive, but super good overall. It has too many pros to say it's a bad thing, but there's definitely an interesting change. I would say like our news cycles even, right? Like news pops in and is gone within like a week or less, right? Where I feel like you sat on that kind of news for much longer, probably back in the old paper days, but YouTube searches it, shows you like 5 things you're searching for, and that's a bunch of shorts and other random shit. You might like this kind of shit. I never watch like punish, because it's probably, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it sucks. The pain in the ass. Oh, sorry, the VTuber. I'm pissed off when I see some video where John Holland ditched their indie audience in order to make more money. Yeah, turn his dress up out at the back. And Beck and Call come with oodles of viewers who don't care about the person behind it at all. I don't get the VTuber, like, the fucking, like, reverence for, like, a company thing, man. I don't even know how that popped up. Like, VTubers are just streamers to me with, like, a fucking avatar. I know there's, like, a certain, like, attitude some will have and shit, but, like, I don't know. I guess these companies cater a certain way, right? They'll have like concerts, they'll focus on certain kinds of singing, certain kinds of collaboration. So it's not just a typical streamer. They'll like kind of carve out like a particular style that a VTuber is. And then they'll play the viewers up so much that, you know, it creates this like cult around these companies, but because of this like family of YouTubers. But I don't know how as a viewer you could get off on like the company part of it. Like I get it. I mean, essentially what it is just a streaming talent agency, right? I mean, it's not like they've done anything particularly like groundbreaking, but I guess they just got in early enough, right? Where that has become like the bedrock of what VTuber even is. And I feel like only in the last few years do you actually finally see people just kind of VTubing on their own and just like. But I feel like that's the goal for a lot of VTuber people is like, you know, getting into the that kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not super well read and super experienced about the whole VTubing thing, so some of that's off base for me. And I'm sure, I mean, your average, I mean, there's people who VTube that just have fun. They're just doing what I'm doing. I watch people who are just really like casual like me, just have a VTuber rig, right? But the like Niji Sanji Hololive, like style, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like that's slipped a bit, but I mean, it's obviously still just popular from sure. Like slipped in terms of like, that's what a VTuber is. Like the identity of it. They haven't slipped in like, you know, raw, you know, popularity or something, but I don't, because it's just like, that's my thing is like, it's not like they can have a monopoly over it. It's not that unique of a thing. It's just it's just a fucking animation rig. Right? Like there's a style behind it, like the over animated, over exaggerated screeching and all that kind of stuff for some of them. But I mean, like I said, that's more of like a style that I feel like some of these companies and shit and people either kind of just curate their VTubers around or emulate. It's just like, of course there's going to be a bunch of people who do VTubing that aren't like that because it's just like super easy to do. It's not really that different than streaming. So that's why I don't get why people get like super like hardcore into like the certain companies, because it's like, one, it's about the people. It's not about some kind of fucking group that like manages them. Now, granted, these groups do allow, like, set up a lot of special events and do a lot of work for them. But I mean, some of them are dog shit too. So it's just like, I don't know. It's, I get the desire for someone to want to become a part of a talent agency, have a more stable, like, big money kind of payout thing where they can become more popular or something. I don't know. But I also find that there's this like, probably, I don't say deification of like some of these like groups and companies like, oh, I could become a part of this. I get it. I mean, if you're like on the edge and you don't have like enough views, or if it's something you really wanted to get, that's an easy way in. I mean, and some of the companies are probably good. I mean, it can be fun having just like a bunch of like cross promotion, goofy bullshit going on, and kind of getting caught up in like this stadium hype, right? Where it's just like everybody's in there, everybody's going crazy, that kind of thing. But I don't know. Personally, I don't care about that fucking kind of shit. I usually like it a bit more authentic. I'm just into that. I like it when it's just a real person doing a real thing. I think it's fine to have like a, you know, I'm putting on a show and I'm letting you know it and we're kind of just having fun with it. But at the end of the day, you know, like, I don't like the fake, you know, this is who I am kind of vibe, or having it always be like antics, masquerading as real shit. But anyways, jump scare fast. I get pissed off when I see some VTuber. I just get pissed off at any VTuber. I don't have a problem with VTubers because, like I said, I think it's just, honestly, it's just a camera. I think I liked VTubers less back in the day when they were first starting out and the companies were like the only thing, because it has this just very particular personality style I just fucking hate. I hate the screeching. I hate the overacting. I hate the nonsensical just babbling. I get that some people love it, so it's a personal thing. I don't think it's like inherently wrong. I just don't fucking care. I don't find that very enjoyable. I can find that enjoyable when it's like a real reaction. Maybe you gas it up a little bit, but like that old style just feels like so incredibly forced and so samey between so many people. And like, I'm gonna sing, and you know, like, I just don't fucking do. like okay, man. But now it's like VTubers are just, they're just streamers. like there's just a breadth of them, right? I'll just watch somebody who's always had a camera and then they just put on a VTuber rig instead. I'm like, they might change their personality a little bit, but mostly it's just the same shit, right? Like Trina or something. He's like no different. When he's wearing like, you know, some anime girl VTuber rig, like, am I gonna not watch him because he's got a rig now? It's like I don't care at all, right? That's like, that's kind of what I mean. Is like we're just way beyond the point where the company is VTubing. Where to me it used to be that way. Now it's just a VTuber rig. There just happens to be talent agencies centered around particular types of like curated talent and cross promotion and personality types and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm also relatively ignorant. I do not watch like the classic VTuber types. I just happen to watch people who just, you know, have a VTuber rig. I've never gotten into the scene, so I could be very ignorant. I could be totally wrong on everything. Oh, the idol industry mentality. Yeah, it's very idol, like, and which I really don't like. I never like. I mean, you know, the fun of it's cool. Like, hey, we're just doing music and it's fun, but the background of it, where it's like very like this competitive talent with like very like faux romance attachment from fans and fucking psychotic like cult like vibes from everybody, and the tribalism between different like idol groups and stuff. Like I find that to be some of the nastiest shit in idols in general, but it's just kind of moved to VTubing for sure. He wouldn't really want to speak or go anywhere for a few weeks. Sorry, I'm like just ranting. I'm like 20 minutes behind. Yeah, that's crazy. That's nasty. I didn't read that part. Yeah, the idol scene. Oh, the biggest VTube company part of an idol company or something. I mean, it just feels like it's the exact application of idol stuff, but for streaming. Yeah, it's just a different medium, same practices behind it. Curating certain talent, you know, control over their lives and social aspects to make sure that you can keep this faux romance simping kind of like cranking, but now you just get like different forms of revenue and I mean cross promotion of different idols. You have music idol stuff, right? I mean, no camera. I watch a lot of no camera people. I used to be no camera. I think you get more focus on the game with no camera. And then obviously people can imagine you as a 10 out of 10 sexy fucking Chad. Or a fucking complete loser. But I don't know. For me it's like it's so focused on the conversation and stuff. I feel like I should be here, you know, or chill. This is just my room, we're just hanging out, so definitely don't need it though. I mean, it helps if you are a 10 out of 10 sexy Chad and then you get a bunch of viewers that way. Let's be real. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking, like my camera's so dark, even if I look like a sexy Chad, like, you can't even see my ass, man. It's like the anti-camera strats here. I'm like, I got like half a camera. Right? You can see me, but it's like I'm like in fucking darkness half the time because of the fucking lighting, because it's fucking camera, not being able to be on exposure higher than -5 because it makes the FPS like 10. How the company owned by the company, the audience enjoys being infantilized, enjoy being told not to talk about anything beyond the surface level. Reincarnate from their previous identity. It's taboo to refer to the previous identity, even though everyone can easily find out. Jesus, yeah, that element of it, I don't know that much about. But every time I see a little something about it, it's so fucking bizarre, man. It seems like demeaning. It seems so just fake. It seems so almost cult-like. This is the rabbit hysteria. I mean, I get people have fun with it, and I don't mind just watching like little clips and stuff of people just having fun. But yeah, the fan base aspect, I've never really interacted much with it, but everything I hear I do not like because it reminds me of idol shit. Yeah. I think it's sort of unavoidable for things to become corporation-centered where they get popular. Oh, for sure. If there's money in it, unless we completely just changed how like corporations and capitalism and all that kind of shit would even work, corporations are going to try to take control of it. If there is money to be had somewhere, the corp will take control of it eventually, or try to, right? I mean, look at video games. I mean, it was always there, but now that it's as big as it is, you get much, much more corporate meddling and shit. Granted, you get, just like with VTubers, the smaller scene that's much more authentic, much more varied. To me, a bit more entertaining. Right? I watch big streamers and stuff. I'm not like, I just watch small people. I watch massive streamers, but not because they're big, because sometimes it's fun to just kind of get lost in the chat, but because they just happen to be, I like their style, right? Likewise, I've seen people who are big who start doing more goofy shit. I just stop watching it. The views, I do think there's a certain kind of like feel you get from a certain kind of view channel. Obviously, chat's a big thing, but sometimes people with big views, I mean, they're good. They're good for a reason, but I mean, sometimes I don't think they are. And sometimes it's like, like talent agency type of shit. It depends. I'm not trying to, what I was trying to say is like, I'm not, just because there exists indie or small view stuff doesn't mean those are always like inherently better. It's just like with AAA. There's good AAA games, but as a whole, there's bizarro practices and goofy shit that can happen when you get into the bigger leagues. None of them are to blame for participating in this ecosystem. It's the fault of the audience for enabling the ecosystem until a lack of thought and consumption of media. Yeah, I mean, you could blame corporations for trying to, like, I feel like push those kinds of, like, idle mentalities and, like, predatory, kind of nasty cults of personality and, monetization that's going to work for that, just kind of like with games, like, I mean, I would blame the suits. But on the other hand, you want also, the consumer base to be smarter, to want to reach around, try to find different stuff, have some integrity, right? Because if they are, then the corporations have to meet that. But no, I don't think you can just blame the audience. It's not like these big gigacorps are like these innocent forces of nature that just morph to whatever. I mean, they're by people who are very greedy and probably, don't care a whole lot about what's going on compared to the profits it makes them. But I do, and to a certain extent, I do think a corporation can create its audience, right? But to a certain extent, yeah, as an audience person, you should not. It's like with like microtransactions. I hate when people make like bend over backwards to make these fucking goofy justifications for him. If you want to partake, but you don't need to make it seem like it's a fucking great thing, or it's like just a lesser evil that makes it good type of thing. Like, push back. There's no reason not to. You're gonna get dicked anyways by the fucking like these big corps. You might as well try to fucking slow the fucking creep, man. Like, it's just an odd thing, right? And it's the same with that. It's like, maybe you have some fun with the VTubers, but like, I don't think you should be like fanatic about like these companies. But I mean, that's what they create, right? They don't want you to talk about certain things. They foster that, they kindle that, because it like feeds into their profits and shit, right? They have more control over their IPs, more control over the pool that you're allowed to swim in, right? So they can make it flow in whatever fucking direction they want. Like when it's like, I mean, even Nintendo's like that, right? They're very, very, very fucking hardcore about IP control to like a goofy extent, but to a certain extent, you get that kind of control. You can kind of, I think it's too big with Nintendo, but I mean, something smaller like VTubers, right? You can foster certain kinds of ideas. You can introduce certain ideas and ways people should be, and then that makes them more likely to spend money. You're going to buy this merch. You're going to buy these tickets because you attract a certain type of people and kind of like turn them into that kind of style. It's not something quick, and half the time it's probably not even something that consciously chosen, but it just kind of works out that way. In my opinion, maybe not. I could be total bullshit. I don't watch much of any of that, but I feel like it's something you see in other mediums. It's kind of like how you compare like Hollywood mainstream to like AAA video games. It's different, but it's like, IP, attachment, risk taking, you know, investor focused type of shit, right? It's kind of there in a lot of stuff. There's a fun cycle of watching how many VTubers when they first debut, their first few weeks of streams is pretty enjoyable because the actual personality is more on the show, and then over time the streams become much more corporate and soulless. Oh, really? They just get more and more controlled. That sucks, man. Yeah, I didn't realize it's always that bad. It's not kosher to talk about what she did beforehand. Yeah, I think the idea is they try to keep this... Like, instead of it's just somebody being a VTuber, having fun, putting on a show, acting out, right? It's very transparent. That's fine. That's cool. You know it's bullshit. You know it's just for fun. You know it's goofy. It's about, this is them. This is the person. You know? There is nobody behind it. There was no one before. This is the thing. And that's... I don't like that with normal streamers, where you, like, pretend this is, like, your fucking personality. And it's supposed to come across as like this authentic person and shit. I'm not big into that style. And I mean, everybody's gonna gas it up a little bit, right? You're just in front of an audience, you're gonna be slightly different, but with VTubers, I think it's just that to like an insane degree. And to me, it just comes across in the fake person, the faux personalities. I just don't like it. I like the screeching, and I like the singing and all that shit. Like it's fine if people want to enjoy it, you know. I mean, I'm not gonna like look down on, you know, somebody who's been cool to me because they watch VTubers or something like that. I watch them myself. I watch people with VTuber really like that. Like if you say you watch VTubers, I feel like it comes across like you watch like Hololive or something. Right? Like I don't watch Hololive, but I feel like if you've got like a cult attachment to them, you need to take a step back. Because it's probably not good for them, and it's not good for the overall fucking anything. People want easy and fast entertainment. Yeah, especially nowadays. Remember some avatar instead of a camera? Fine by me, even if most look ugly and aren't even funny. Idle shit? Die. Yeah, I'm not... The idle part's the big thing, I think. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. There's idle VTubing, and that's what I feel like it used to just be, and now it's like... Those are just, like, particular VTubers part of a talent agency. They might be the flagship, like, face of VTubing, but... You know... I mean, I'd get a VTuber just as a joke, like, just as just a block of shit or something, like a joke one. Like, that'd be funny, right? But it's like, it's just a camera trick. I mean, I don't care at all about the fucking personality warp that their VTubing's about. Like I said, I'm fine with putting on a show as long as like we know it's a show and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, you do, but it's like, I feel like with the Hololive type of shit, they try to make the show thing not exist, man, and people treat it like that's a real entity instead of having that understanding and, you know, like, you know, it's like, it's just a person doing a thing, right? And you know, respect that and the people and all that. Let's just have fun with it. Because of absolutely massive for streaming. So many individual people would not be streaming these days if they have a way to hide their face while presenting themselves. We would not be streaming right now because they'd be afraid of... I'm not using a camera being harassed. I mean, it definitely helps bridge any kind of gap where you get so like I said earlier, if you're attractive or sexy, you're gonna get more views. You just are. That's, I mean, of course, right? That's gone for everything. Attractiveness is, you know, I mean, you could get like gimmick views off of being like, you know, a fat ugly bastard and playing it up or something. And it just because you're ugly or something doesn't mean you can't get views when you're showing your face off. But it definitely helps if you're not. And I find VTubing helps close a gap there. I'm not saying VTubers are ugly in real life, but like there's not even like a question, right? Like, you know, every VTuber's just got massive tits flopping around, super attractive, whatever, right? As long as you're into that aesthetic, like you don't even have to. You could just be exactly who you want to be, maybe just on a personal level, but maybe just, you know, to be like, hey, I don't have to, I can have a camera, I can have the appeal of being attractive, and it's just like, you know, and you just move on. I don't find that as nasty as like V-bots or anything. It just, you know, it makes sense, right? So I definitely think that is true to a certain extent, the sex appeal part. I mean, obviously some people just aren't going to be into like anime boobies, but yeah, it definitely is a huge thing. I mean, is there, you know, there's not many unattractive VTubers probably in the big companies and shit, right? Like, people aren't just there for the personality, it's about the mix of everything. So I definitely think that it kind of makes that that aspect, if you're using cameras, disappear a bit. I mean, if you just weren't using a camera, I mean, you could get something there too, but it's different when like you're looking at something. For sure, I'd probably use an avatar because I'm not good with social, so using a camera and show myself as an app to no go. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's another thing too. It's just like, you know, if you feel like you need to be showing a something, someone like a face, you know, but you don't want to like have your face on there. I mean, some people just are saying no camera, but some people, you know, they want the bridge between. Some people for views, you know, they want to, you know, get the attractive views, and like, you know, that helps there. Yeah, and I mean, there's something to be said about having like a reaction, even if it's, you know, genuine or not, from like an actual camera and shit. So, depends on what you're playing and what you're going for. I'm not much of a react guy, so maybe the camera's not as useful, but when we have these big long chats, at least you can see what I'm up to, and I feel like it bridges the gap of being bored as fucking hell and knowing what's actually going on. Like, why is there nothing happening on screen? Because I'm looking at chat or something. Toho girl to fill in the space. Yeah, what is graduating? Is it just when they like leave? When they get fired? I was driving today and I passed a sign, and instead of speed bump it said speed cushion, and that's what that reminds me of. The fucking like simplifying, what is that called, where you like babyify the language to make it sound less extreme, to get less of a negative reaction from it. It's got a name, I can't remember what it's called, what it is. I was about to say a word that it definitely wasn't. What is the fucking term? It's been used for fucking eons. It's not like a new thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that corporate involvement in some kind of like streaming thing is bad necessarily, right? Just like with game publishers, there's good ones like your Annapurnas and shit that are gonna curate stuff and create opportunities with. I mean, I don't know everything about Annapurna, but I've like their curation pretty well. But with VTubers, it's like you could get some that are just like, hey, you know, we just like this talent. We're gonna set up, you know, little gigs for you if you want. We'll set up your merch for you. You don't have to mess with that. You know, maybe we'll do some cross promotion setups if you want, but mostly just kind of foster them and let them do whatever they want. But you know, monetize it, and then they don't have to, kind of thing, right? That's what a publisher is. It's essentially a publisher, like a fucking record label or a fucking video game publisher. Movie studio is a little different because they do a lot in house. It's the same thing. You can't be good and it can't be bad. It depends on how much control the money guys get. And for me, if it changes the talent and stuff. Granted, the talent's a massive ocean, so just don't watch the shit if you don't like it. But also, like I said before, there's people who don't look for stuff. They just buy into whatever's fucking shoveled down their throat. So to a certain extent, when that stuff exists, and you think it's like a bad thing, possibly, you know, maybe it's worth talking about still, because that's what's gonna get created, right? It's like with the video games. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, you can play indie games and stuff, and that's awesome, but your average Joe's gonna keep buying Call of Duty every year, so it's like it's worth bitching about a bit, because maybe, you know, someday you can get that changed, or it's, you know, you know, maybe it just in a very nuanced way, people kind of get tired of certain things just because of discourse, or you know, just because it's fun to talk about it, the minimum. And then you know, your Giga chat will maybe he'll play something different, and maybe the industry will change a little bit. Who knows? Maybe not. Yeah, Leslie, that's kind of what Goto was saying earlier. It's like you can kind of blame the fans to a certain extent. Yeah. That's my thing. On a personal level, do what you want, but it's like it'd be nice for people to think about, like, you know, how shitty that kind of idol culture stuff is. And I mean, they did get some backlash, some of these companies, for, was it Niji Sanji? Who is it? For that kind of like stuff. I think that kind of shit needs to be highlighted, and you need to break free from like that kind of goofy corporate conditioning and enjoy the VTubers for kind of what they are. And it's okay to have all of these like events and merch and stuff. And if you want to spend a bunch of money on it, that's fine. But like, I think having that transparency, they're not your girlfriend. This is not really them. You know, the corporation parts should not be taking control and like, you know, fucking over, you know, the talent and stuff like that. Like, and after that, it's like, you know, it's like whatever. You know, creating like tribal wars between VTubers and shit, you know, like that kind of shit's bullshit. And then it's like you could still have like the same mentality and the same kind of enjoyment, but I feel like there's certain elements of that with the most rabid parts of like idol shit that, and maybe I'm just bullshitting, but that are that people should, regardless of their personal enjoyment, you should still push for people being aware of that kind of shit. On a personal level, it's like, you know, yeah, it really is stupid, and people should not take advantage of people who are willing to throw away dumb money like that. But to a certain extent, you know, you can't protect all forms of stupid, but yeah. And some people have a different relation with their money than others, but I don't know. It's just like any big corporation thing. There's a balance there. Personal enjoyment, you know, as long as you're not fucking with anybody, you know, probably trumps all, but to a certain extent, propagating like bad habits and creating an environment where that's the only kind of media made because those things are okayed can have negative consequences. But to a certain extent, I think it's up just to the individual to make that call, but I personally am going to call out stuff like bad corporate practices and shit, regardless if there's a fan doing it. That's why I say I can't just blame the fan base, because when you get games like mobile games and like a lot of mobile games and stuff, which are like finely tuned to be as predatory and psychologically addicting and just surgically fucking pointed to fuck you, it's hard to really be like, well, man, you should just not play it. Like, yeah, you shouldn't, but they're like manipulating it for people who just aren't either that savvy, who just don't care that much, who are just casually playing shit to make decisions that they probably should. That's why people ban gambling. It's very easy to just fall into the fucking, you know, like fall into the fucking pit. And it's like, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I think personally you should just be educated and like just realize shit's stupid and don't do it, but I get the argument for having a little bit of a very like ground level amount of like protection there. Problem is you can make an argument for more, but then you start getting into the idea of everything you do should be controlled, and then you get like censorship, and I hate that shit. So for me, it just kind of stops at just bitching about it, just talking about it. Like, I think you should educate, you should be able to make a more powerful individual decision, and then the companies are going to have to morph around that. Like, hey, if everybody's just like, we don't want people to use this like fucking like baby language to talk about like, you know, firing people, or we don't want to have, you know, people's social lives, you know, be some kind of like, you know, burning at the stake if they get revealed, or, you know, we don't want like the past versions of VTubers to be like, you know, like a no. And then and then you just everybody was like that. The company, what is the company gonna do? They're not gonna just not do that. Like maybe they would still try to tailor it eventually, but like I find that more important, and that's kind of where for me the goal of the discourse is. You'd hope to like kind of, I guess, advocate for a more informed consumer base so that they can then not be okay with companies doing the worst fucking thing ever. Because then it's still about individuality and not like some kind of authoritative control over everything. Like, you know, I need to have laws that say VTubers aren't allowed to do this and that because it's hurting people who aren't thinking, right? And it's like, I don't want that. I'd rather people just fucking realize shit on their own. And I mean, some of that people are gonna not agree with, but, and like I said, I'm not ultra educated on the VTuber thing, but I don't know. It just feels like it has a lot of similarities between very broad strokes of other industries and stuff. Yeah, that's the thing is like it's the parasocial shit, right? And they foster that. That's what I mean, like a faux romance, right? Like you're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna romance. You're not gonna get in a relationship with one of these YouTubers. But like they play it up, right? Like these idols and shit. Like, oh, you know, like with old idol stuff, it's about, oh, I love you, you know, this and that, and you know, it's it's like the border of like attraction, romance, but not all the way. It's like this edging, right? And that's why you're not allowed to learn about boyfriends. Even in Gotcha, there's people who learn like they write a story that a character has a fucking husband or something, and it just destroys some people. like this is what I mean. That kind of person sucks, man. Like, you should never be like that. Like you got a problem, man. And that's kind of where I was like, I'm bitching about stuff. It's like, companies will take control of that and create that kind of person, possibly. But to a certain extent, like, you know, people should just not be like that. And then hopefully stick it to those kinds of companies that do bad things like that. And you do. Like, there's that outcry, like I said, about that YouTubing company that was doing that kind of horrible shit. But it's like, how many years do they go without any kind of backlash? This is graduating. Leaving a VTuber branch because no longer be able to use the design that the company paid for. It's been co-opted in the indie scene to mean anytime someone stops streaming indefinitely. It's a J Idol thing, really? Why is it called such a stupid fucking... Fuck Joe Rando. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's funny though. I think not liking VTubers just because it's like the new thing, or it's like, you know, that's just like typical contrarian hipster shit. I think that's dumb, but not liking particular types of personalities of VTubers and ones attached to certain companies because of like real reasons, like, you know, nasty, negative, control and you know, obviously like personal taste and stuff. But it's like, alright, my brother wants to get a drink, so I'll probably just shoot the shit until then instead of doing any game. And then I'll come back in 20-30 minutes. I'll probably turn the stream off and back on. I saw a huge channel. I was just starting off just talking about how the situation with these companies running the V2 being seen is really related to the kind of casual consumption of media and the way that consumers in the whole are just along for a ride they have no participant in. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, I mean, if you're just someone who just partakes a little bit in VTubing and stuff, and like I said, it's like with your Netflix, it's like with your, you know, mainstream movies and stuff. You're not super into the scene. You're not into the much of the drama. You're not looking into a lot of that kind of stuff. But you're not going to listen to dumbasses like me talk about thinking some of these things are bad and you shouldn't do them because you're just not that into it. So it's like you don't really have, I guess, as much of a say or control, but you're still like putting in, I suppose, and propagating like a certain maybe mentality that's okay to kind of keep pushing in the eyes of the company. But I don't know. I mean, I mean, obviously, like the large amount of viewers pushing back is going to matter, but the ones who are going to put a lot of money into the thing aren't just the casual, I watch it a couple times now and then person. It's going to be your power user. I don't know. Maybe you can't compare that to mobile games, right? Where you could lose 90% of your player base, and obviously it's going to affect whales quitting, but the whales are like where most of the money comes from. But VTuber purgatory? I might. There's a lot of VTube talk. And I think anybody who wants to talk about manga or anime sometimes gets drowned out. Because it's just talking about streamers. They just have a fucking, you know, I mean, come on, it's like, what's that? Find something here. You know, like it's like, okay, this is now a stream that's you know about anime, right? Because it's an anime stream now, or a manga stream. Like, no, it's a stream still. It's like, to a certain extent, I don't think just because you have an anime fucking rig means that you're anime. So I don't think it really fits the anime manga channel. But it was never like too much that I was like, oh, we gotta get rid of it or something. I would never get rid of it anyways. I think people should talk about whatever the fuck they want in there as long as it's not going to get the Discord ban. It might just be better to put it somewhere else in its own channel, like with Gacha, because the Gacha would get in the way of other video game conversations. Because some people will just want to have a conversation over a couple days, and then like their comment might get drowned out. It's like, okay, no, well, there's no point not having it. No, I always read every comment. Sometimes I'll be waking up, so I'll forget to reply, but it's always interesting. And I learn a lot. Waifu bot. Core values. Yeah, that's how I see it. Like, go to the pastor talking about. That's what I mentioned earlier. It's like, to me, when I say VTuber, when people are like, hey, do you watch VTubers? I'm like, that means, are you a part of like Hololive, like the universe of like corporate VTubers? Because like, if somebody asks me that, it's like, on a very technical level, I'd be like, yes, I am a VTuber watcher. Because I do watch people who with VTuber rig. But I do not partake and have very little desire to watch like a whole lot of like giga corporate ones. And I mean, there's great ones, I'm sure. There's great people in there, I'm sure. There's some of them are fun, but I'm not into the idol stuff. And honestly, I've just got a bunch of people I already watch, so I'm not looking for a whole lot of new shit. So. I should. There's probably better stuff I could watch, but like I said, since I stream so much, I'm usually just looking for like a fucking deflate or just, watching the people that I've already curated over time. I know that the 2236 guy streamed Mega Man 1 with the Masako PNG tuber and also streamed World's End Club. Linux software development. How did we know? How did I know Lassie would be fucking watching a VTuber about Linux software development based? There's one tiny other category of indies who aren't really idolish but still play a character in some way compared to just being them an unrelated model. Yeah, well, I feel like that's the people. I mean, there's all sorts. It's just like with streamers. I mean, there's your people trying to emulate major VTuber stuff, right? That's the style, right? That was how it started. That's how it first, was. There's your people who are just making a shit post or just, having some fun with a visual gag on stream, right? Like when I put up a photo. Or I have like something pop up when people donate or something, right? I don't think it's too far off of that. And then it's like, people who, it's just a replacement for the face, or people who makes them more comfortable, or it's like, hey, just like big tits. You just want some big tits on the stream. Fuck. A filthy VTuber. What should my VTuber rig be, man? Oh, man. I'm becoming a VTuber. I want a Kyle Hyde one. Hey, dude, Agent 47, that'd be funny. Here, man. Now this is VTubing right here, dude. You guys ready to play? This is not just VTubing. Sex maxing. I mean, for streams that are just about conversation, I get this idea here where it's like the game's just pretty much in the background. I like I said, I don't even think it's like inherently wrong. But I mean, in a stream where it's more about showing off the bod and all that, I mean, this is the thing. For some reason, my controller disconnected. But for me, I don't like the idea of this camera angle when you're actually pretending like it's about games. At this point, you should just say you're not. I mean, you're just talking, right? Like, does the game part even matter? But I mean, this is an exaggerated version of it. I mean, there's people who just have it like, like 2/3, and then the titties are nice and big for the VTubing and shit. And totally different, but I guess I don't have anything big to say on it. I shouldn't say I do. But I think it's just more funny than anything. Because to me, it seems like a relic of like the original streaming, kind of game streaming sphere. Not a relic. I don't consider what I do like a relic or anything, but it's like, like streaming, live streaming, post Justin TV and stuff was like mostly gaming. So it's funny to see when it's like, okay, these people are moving, to a different area than just gaming. And streaming, but like they'll still have the games kind of there and not be like a huge part of it. I mean, obviously now you see people just shed it, right? There's just chatting. There's just, hot tubs, whatever the fuck you want, right? The gaming is not even really a part of it, but it's funny to see like the middle ground where it's like maybe they don't care about the games. It's not the focus. And maybe they do have fun personally, but like, clearly the stream environment's more about like the talking and, full screen person and stuff. Either it's sexual or either it's just for conversation, right? I mean, like I said, I don't mind any of that stuff. You just watch what you want at that point. But when it's a bit more focused, like your Hololive type of stuff, I have a lot bigger problem with that kind of thing. Like, would it be cool if people cared more about some loser talking about video games all day than somebody who just, was kind of just doing like a softcore porn thing? Like, sure, that'd be fun for me, but at the end of the day, people can watch what they want. I don't have a problem with it. it doesn't destroy my ability to keep doing what I want. It's not like, you know, just because people like sexy things, I could never get any views or never have any. My stream would just get shut down. I was like, maybe to a certain extent, I could eventually. Maybe Twitch would say, hey, anything that's not getting a certain amount of views, it's not worth the server space. So, you know, you're gone, right? That kind of thing. But like, that's not the case right now. So this doesn't really matter, right? So, I don't mind that shit at all. But the it's more the insidious like nature of like certain fandoms and companies propping that stuff up and things that do have a little bit more sway over the entire like these entire medium stuff like AAA gaming and shit. You know, like all the internet traffic being in like 6 websites kind of thing. You know, like maybe stuff like that. You know, everything being owned by like 5 guys or something, that kind of shit. Like that. That's a little bit more of like a, you know, there's a bit more going on there. The cleavage cam. I need to get one of those pack cams, dude. Where they get the art, where the guy's got like abnormally large packs. That'd be my cleavage cam. On my VTuber rig. Oh, that'd be cool. It's like a really ugly, funny, like square face kind of looking VTuber rig, but with like huge, like chiseled tits. Packs. like those NTR characters. I don't read any NTR, but you always see people picture them, right? Or it's like some guy with the dude's wife, and he's like the most like stereotypical like American Chad guy. Dude, Andy's coming to YouTube. Dude, do you think I want to get sued by fucking Uchikoshi of all people? I'd get mentally fucking destroyed, man. Executed. Deviants for pleb. Be yourself. I will not watch it. Yeah, that's just a personal thing. I just don't like really people putting on an act unless they, you know, unless it's very clearly that's what it is and we're just having fun, right? People can just act out and have a joke. I don't like it when it's supposed to be this like faux like person. I'm just not into that shit. Like people want to put on shows and like, you know, have more curated like produced content. That's fine. I mean, to me, it's like I just go to YouTube for that shit. But streaming for me, it's always been more about the genuineness of it. But that's just a personal thing. It's like with sexy streamers. I got no problem with it. I don't watch any sexy streamers. I do like sexy things, but I don't mind, right? Because it's not like I don't find that to be like hurting the overall thing, right? I find stuff like I said, like some of that kind of corporate meddling and shit and that kind of stuff to be more fun. It just depends. Everything's case by case. That's what makes it hard. That's what makes it so easy for goofy companies to fuck you over. Biko, dude. I love fucking laughing about dumb VTuber shit like that, like Biko. He needs the cash. 100 line, yeah. I mean, I hope it goes good for them. Like I said, their careers, I watch like a hawk. It's so interesting to me, but I don't have any problem with them, despite thinking all of their work has fallen into a fucking gutter over the last decade. But you know, I mean, they've given me a lot of really cool stories and stuff, and I'd like to see them try some more. And any developer that's still willing to kind of like stick with VNs in some capacity. You know, it's like, you know, I like that stuff to keep existing, but yeah, they're going all out, and I respect that. I respect people putting it all on the line, man. Like with Cuphead and stuff like that, where they took out their fucking mortgage and it's all or nothing, that kind of shit. You know, that's that passion. And I mean, some people could call that reckless and unnecessary, and maybe even stupid, but I gotta respect it. When it's for creating something, right, like passion. I don't respect it when it's, you know, if I could buy my fucking titty PNG on my gacha game, I find the act of like creating something and all the emotions and all the skill that goes into that and so many different facets to be much more important than seeing a pair of titties on a fucking gacha game. So there's I respect the I don't respect the idea of taking everything. I'm making a huge risk, and it's more making a risk than something that has a more deeper meaning to you. But yeah, maybe he'll run out of money and then he'll make Danganronpa before. He's already said he's willing. They got fed up with what they wanted to do. Yeah. I'm here to chat with people about games and dumb random shit. Yeah, that's what I like doing. I'm just glad that the stream's got enough people now I can do that. I mean, certain hours a day, not really, but someday I'll find maybe a way to kind of branch the stream out more. Because I would like to be able to do it for a living. Because I'd like to be able to just do it more. Because I just like doing it. But as it is right now, I've got a pretty good job. I like it a lot. I get to work just enough. I don't have any money to do anything with, but it's just enough where I can keep maximizing streaming because I like it. Time to get banned from streaming for everybody else. I would go to YouTube probably, and then I'd go somewhere else. I just like doing it. I don't see any reason I'd ever even get banned, man. And who knows, man? Maybe these conversations are going to be considered ban-worthy in 20 years, and somebody will go back and be like, "This guy needs to be removed." Yeah, I think it depends. There's some big streams that can still manage a good conversation. You gotta understand that most viewers aren't chatting. But like the chat would pick up for sure. I would just end up probably doing more stuff like this where I just stop and talk. But there's a lot of times where I'm just talking to one person over 3 hours. So I think a reasonable level where it's like I could actually make a living off it and still keep a chat is very doable. Yeah, dude. Well, that's why I didn't take a break during this conversation. That's why I'm waiting until we're done, and I've been trying to be okay about that. Like, I won't take too many like breaks during it, but I'm always gonna take a break for conversation. Yeah, just skip ahead, VOD watchers. Skip ahead 2 hours. Yeah, right. Let's VOD watchers rewind 3 hours. Oh, really, Sam? I must have accidentally done that. I am very lazy about my VOD uploads. I will see what they are, try to leaf through a little bit of it, and just trust in myself to, that the rest of the VOD's fine, and then I just upload it. These days, if I swap game, I turn stream on and off because it breaks the VOD up. Maybe there's a way to do it without having to do that. I wonder if there is actually. I thought there was on other sites. Because then I could break it up into VODs and just upload it easily. I watch a lot of VODs, but I am a lurker. I don't chat very often. I only chat in people's streams that are from here. Because when I'm not streaming, I'm just chilling. Because I've been talking all day. So I have a very different engagement with like, I'm not looking at chat. That's why sometimes I like watching like a big, like authentic streamer or something. Just playing games because I'm just there for the fun time of it. Or I'll just go watch YouTube and like watch reviews and stuff like this. It just depends. I watched the Punch-Out history video today. It was alright. It wasn't that wild. If anything, it was kind of interesting to learn more about Mike Tyson. I do want to play Punch-Out because of that video though. Yeah, anybody watching these? I mean, that's the thing to me is like, it's cool when somebody comes in here who's just wanting to watch a particular game, but it's very rare I get somebody who comes to watch a particular game stick around past that. It does happen. Like, I know some people have come in here from Ace Attorney or they've come in here from certain things, but like, tends to be a bit more rare. Usually people are coming from like a different community or learning from somebody else, but sometimes people stick from certain games. But the problem is people who want to watch a certain game want to watch a certain game. So unless you just by happenstance really click with someone, they just disappear afterward. I've had people come back in here and ask when I'm going to play X game again. I'm like, I'm done with it. And then I never see them again. I don't think anybody has like that level of charisma that's just gonna like, you know, get somebody who's only there to see a game stick with you. But it could happen. It happens sometimes. I mean, I think that goes with anything, but you know, it's different when somebody's like literally looking for something like, you know, more broad. But it's kind of like a niche idea in the first place. Not a niche idea, but it's very popular on YouTube, but more for curated videos, right? Just having conversations about game design and whatever you want on the fly. But it's usually like, hey, I made this video over 6 months. It's much more focused, much more thought out. But I don't know. I've written a lot of notes that I need to bring back up, like guidelines I want to start doing with kind of discussion of like game stuff and all that kind of crap, and to make it more engaging, to make it more informative, to kind of start to try to practice having a mindset about analyzing that kind of stuff, but not at the loss of like actually enjoying the games. And then I should really take notes again, but because there's a certain extent where it's like that does slow things down, and that might make it maybe even too fucking serious. But I just do whatever I like. Kusoge. What the hell? This guy hasn't played RGT yet. But I'm in there talking about Higginbana. It's because Harlequin recommended Higginbana to me many years ago. Yeah, Lassie. I mean, that's been a classic speedrunner thing. Well, a lot of people say, hey, this is what you do. The strat is to play the game that everybody wants to see, and then slowly wean them into other types of games occasionally, using that big viewer base. I mean, obviously you need to have a personality to go with that, or a community that revolves around you, regardless of how interesting you are, to keep people there. You're going to always lose people, but there's been a lot of streamers who I've seen who started speedrunning that moved into variety and ended up like Elijah's, Distortion, I Ate Your Pie, right? There's esports ones like The Odd One, I'm a Cutie Pie, guys like that. That's just how it is. It's like there's games that are super focused, super entertaining to watch, or with like big view bases that are just gonna pull in more viewers, especially if you're really good. And are getting people on skill. But the thing with variety is it's not skill anymore. I mean, maybe skill matters to a certain extent. It's gonna be personality, it's going to be community conversation, it's going to be people who like variety, which sadly is not as many people as you think. A lot of people play a lot of variety, but in the grand scheme of things, like, you know, if you're going for hundreds of thousands of views, right, like massive amounts, you know, the mass amounts of people playing games are going to be playing like 5 things every year, right? You know, there's more viewers in Fortnite than there ever would be playing, you know, like hundreds of like small little indie games. So it just kind of depends. Usually watching for the game. Lord knows you're a fucking part of the community if you're more tolerable these. He's like, sure, eventually I'll start 70 then retire within the year. Yeah. I don't know. I get it. I mean, that's definitely a way to do it. Like, you know, instead of like view bots, right, you're carving out an actual large number because you're kind of focused on a particular thing, and then you move to something else. Now my problem with that is, if you just played Fortnite all day and somehow, I mean, I don't even know how you'd get noticed in the sea of Fortnite people, but let's just say you're really good. Do you really want to foster a community of just Fortnite players that maybe take interest in like variety? I mean, I guess the good ones that would be fun would want to watch the variety if that's what you want. Maybe you like the fucking psychotic, just like, you know, all in on Fortnite, but then you would never switch, right? So It's like, I don't know, it's like, what do you see for your stream, right? Because I mean, depending on what you do and the way you act, it's going to be how like a lot of your viewers are going to end up being tailored towards. So it's like, would I want to like, I mean, with speedrunning, I think it's a little different, right? You kind of have to be a certain niche into video games. You know, maybe you're just more willing to like jump into more interesting, you know, maybe more retro variety, I don't know, but. What happened to the Mexican runner? Is he just got replays going right now? I thought he still got views. Or is he not doing his retro challenges anymore? He's doing reruns. Yeah, the Mexican runner, he's always got reruns. And reruns do horrible overall, but you can always have him on, right? I don't know what his normal viewer count is though. You want to see a fucking channel that fucking died? Watch Me Forever. You guys remember that? That fad? And then they changed it to the new style. It has 6 viewers right now. I follow it just because I'm curious, man. That was the one where it was AI generated Seinfeld. I know it's like 6 viewers. That's like a pure like gimmick one. And as soon as that changed, it was over. Especially now that AI stuff's gotten way beyond that. Funny though. But yeah. So I mean there can be viewers that come from gimmicks and fads that are never there for anything beyond that. But I do think for like, you know, if you've got like, if you slowly maybe wean people off of stuff, or you have a certain like maybe personality or viewer centric kind of attitude or something like that. Those are, I feel like, fundamentals, like a bedrock you can create your stream around that'll let you swap to different games if you first started out as probably like someone who's like going all in on one particular thing, right? Like if people find you and enjoy you for speedrunning, but they find out, you know, maybe they can have a nice conversation or something, and then they maybe start coming for that. You could play anything. And I think that's the idea. Or find, you know, oh, that they have a lot of fun, and it can be more fun than you expected by swapping to this game. That's why it's like you usually don't turn off your stream when you swap games. You swap during like particular hours, you know, at certain times, at certain moments, to like keep people interested in it, and then like maybe they'll stay interested in it. Why when I turn off a stream, it's probably considered really bad, and it does probably affect chat in here because people just leave. But I'm at a viewer level and care that I just don't care. I care more about making the VODs not a pain in the ass to cut. So I just turn the stream off when I switch games and then turn it back on. But seeing ASMR streamers get sub 100 views on game streams, so why can't ASMR is cool? Yeah. And I mean, to a certain extent, also it depends on your goals, right? Like some people, it's like they, you know, maybe they just want to make a living and be able to do what they want. That'd be like me. Just nothing fancy, just literally just living it. But that's a different conversation from I want to make infinite money, infinite growth. You know, I want huge success as a streamer, right? I'm not saying that it's not super hard to even just make a living as a streamer, but it's obviously very different from being like, you know, a millionaire every month streamer. So that's a different ball game. That's a level that I don't think, unless you're very lucky, or just have the right X factors, you can just be like chilling, just be you, kind of doing the chill. You know, there has to be some kind of hustle. There has to be some kind of cross promotion. There has to be some kind of like focus on the content. There has to be something to take it to that next level. I do think it's possible though, because I mean I see people who are just kind of chilling and actually have good content. I hate saying content, but good stuff that are like super big. But it's like if you're going for those like mega views and you kind of keep growing it, there's a certain like just competitiveness that like is just, you know, like something has to give kind of deal, right? Very, very rare that somebody's just going to be like that big and it's just, you know. Like there's just nothing. But I don't know. I mean, to a certain extent, when you get big, you probably just keep getting big too, right? I mean, you have more people talking about you. You have more of the snowball effect. It kind of depends, right? I mean, it's like, you know, if you went from 1,000 to 100, but like, it's still, you still made a living and you enjoyed every hour of streaming. To me, it's like I prefer the 100, right? It's like having more dough is cool, but if I just want to spend 12 hours every day streaming, it's like, other than being able to buy the games and like food and stuff, it's like I don't. What does more money even do for me? I mean, I guess technically, if you just had a shitload of money, you could just go do all sorts of wacky shit. But if like I just wanted to stream, then like I only really need a certain amount of money, right? And that's kind of how it is for me right now. I mean, there's always nice to have more money, of course, right? Like medical stuff, like some food. Maybe you do want to take a vacation, right? Or you want to, maybe you want to take care of your parents or something. I have some streamers I know who they've made it a little bit bigger. They're just gonna buy like their parents like, you know, house or make them stop working or something if they can, and like that's what they're gonna do with their money because they respect their parents a lot. I'm like, that's fucking badass, man. Like, that's cool. So it just depends. Even the money's nowhere near. It's like, did the Mexican runner like swap off to different games or something? I mean, some streams just like dwindle over time. They change schedule or their style's just not as interesting, or maybe they just lose the passion and you can feel it. Maybe they're fad ones. I'm not saying the Mexican runner's a fad speedrunner. I have no idea. I follow him forever, but I don't watch him much. But did he go variety maybe? I mean, he was doing the challenges and speedrunning for a while. Oh, the speedrunning. Okay, that makes sense then. Because he used to do a lot of Cuphead and all that. I've just known him for the last couple of years for doing the NES Mania stuff. But yeah, he probably had a lot more viewers before that. He has a band too, right? His brother? I don't remember. It's become a community joke. Pay $100 to make it slowly. Love the game. What is that fucking comment? Good stream quality. Yeah. He finished NES Mania. Gotcha. Missing the X Factor or something. Anyways, guys, my brother's been waiting around. I chatted for a little extra because I think he needed some more time, but I don't want to make him wait anymore. I'm gonna take a quick break. Playing games fast is a waste of money, dude. Yeah, because any speedrunner doing speedrunning is purely in it for the money, dude. I mean, maybe there's some who are doing it for like views, or maybe it turns out that way, but I feel like speedrunning is way too niche. You have to be very particular to want to speedrun as much as it takes to actually be godly and make a living off it. They're not in it for the money, bro. Paying for a game to speedrun? What, like somebody buying like the Oya so they can like play, or a particular console or version of the game just to play it more optimally or faster? What a wild comment. Anyways, guys, I need to take a break. Thanks for hanging out. You took a 3-year break between Higginbana 1 and 2. What do you mean? All I said was that I played Higginbana because it was recommended. What's the break? What's the break mean? That's why I played it for RGD. I don't even know if I knew RGD existed. Maybe I did by that time. I didn't have anybody recommend RGD before, I feel like, for Higginbana. Oh, in context, 15 minutes ago. Yeah, that was a while ago. I was thinking back to what I said. But gotcha. Anyways, I gotta go for. I'll be back in like 20 minutes. We'll continue. Thanks for watching, folks.